going to talk about getting ready for 2023. All that Christmas goodness right here on Dollars and Cents after the countdown. Stay tuned.
Worried about taxes? Who isn't, right? As our country continues to ponder how to pay for stimulus measures and relief efforts that were enacted during the pandemic, the Biden administration already has laid out several tax proposals that would leave the wealthy and corporations facing increases. While changes to tax legislation may be beyond our control, we can develop plans that include tax-efficient strategies, estate planning options, and much, much more. Protect what's yours. Call the Resource Center today to see how we can help minimize your tax bill to Uncle Sam.
Bruce, thanks for joining us once again right here on K-ROG Wildcat TV. And 2023 is going to be here before we know it.
Fast approaching. I think today we should discuss some things that, it never hurts to have a family meeting around the kitchen table.
Sure.
Every now and then.
That's right.
I think getting ready financially for next year, I think people right now should be looking at a budget for next year. And if you want to know how to do that, see where your money went this year. Take your little checkbook or your bank statements if you use debit and all this evil electronic currency that they're pushing down our throats, right?
Well, I just want to be able to keep track of...
Go back to January, look at every single month, get the old pencil and paper out, write it down, see exactly where your money went, see if there's any places you can cut moving into next year. It's a good little exercise to do, and it's very revealing.
Are you suggesting we should keep track of where we spend our money?
Yeah, I mean,
so
I would. I mean, moving into next year, has anybody ever heard of this thing called inflation?
Yeah.
Do you understand what that is?
Yeah.
And if you don't, just ask. I mean, there's lots of folks that can spell it out, but look at bacon and eggs a year ago and then price it today. Look at cereal.
Well, one of the things that...
grocery items.
I think there's two things that cause inflation, and they're both the government.
Yeah.
One is government spending, which is what's caused the rampant inflation right now. But I think the hidden culprit to taxation or to inflation that people don't understand is taxation, income taxes. Because every time the income tax rates goes up, that payments, the income tax that every corporation, every person is having to make along the way gets built into the ultimate price of the product before you ever buy it at the store.
Right.
And that's something that's recently come to my attention because of the work that we're doing with the fair tax.
Right.
And I think that, but to go back to what you just said, I think that if you're looking to make a New Year's resolution, one that you should probably make is I'm just going to keep a little log of where my money goes for at least the first couple months of 2023.
And if you need an idea of how do you do that, just go back to January last year. Move forward. See where your money went. Make your list of where you spend your money because it's going to be different than anybody else. So look at where you spend your money. See if there's any places you can pull back on. You might be surprised how much money you spend at the coffee shop or at going out to eat daily for lunch, whatever it is.
Not that the coffee shop's not a good investment because...
No, this is a great investment right here, Storytime Coffee. But... the bottom line is if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Absolutely.
And so, business is not supposed to be shoved down our throats. It's, it's supposed to be a choice of ours, that free trade stuff. Now let's get back to inflation. Don't forget, nobody can create inflation.
Except the government.
Except the federal government.
That's right, yep.
Now, consumers, they consume products and services. That does not create inflation. I don't care what Nancy Pelosi says, she's senile, right? I mean, manufacturers do not create inflation. They manufacture the stuff that we buy, right?
Right.
Now, the only entity that could create inflation through the production of money that we don't have, because they've got the right to, or the machine to print all these dollar bills. They print as many as they want. They handed them out, told everybody to stay home. And the first tsunami of problems is just this little hiccup of inflation. Believe me, there are far worse situations coming that are going to make this inflation thing seem like a walk in the park. It's going to come from taxation. I don't know, let's take a poll here on K-ROG. Are taxes going up or down in the next 10 years?
I vote up.
Yeah. I
Not
mean,
that I want them to go up, but they almost have to.
So you look at that, and if wages are not going to keep pace, you're going to pay more in income tax. You're going to have less discretionary money. I think we should pay attention, and it's not all bleak.
No.
Being aware of your money, not being a passive investor, means get out and ask questions, get out and learn, educate yourself on things you need to know. This fair tax thing that we're going to be talking about a lot moving into 23, it's a consumption tax. It's not based on wages. It's based on how much you consume. And if you have more nickels in your jar and you can spend more, you're going to pay more proportionately. If you have less nickels, you're going to pay less because you're not going to have as much consumption.
But nobody's going to pay any tax on any of their spending up to the poverty level. So this is a tax that really actually does benefit the lowest income earners in our society, because up to that $32,000 poverty level for a family of four, there'll be no tax burden whatsoever.
Yep.
None, and you can't beat that. And then everybody else pays a proportional share based on how much they spend.
And it's not anything other than it's fair.
It's fair. It's just fair.
Our country has got too big for us to operate under the old ways, and we have to adapt to some new structure in order to make it fair all the way around.
And it's transparent.
And we can move forward, and it's transparent.
It's transparent, yep.
And,
none of this $4,400 page bill to explain what the taxes are. It's easy. I can explain it to you in 5 minutes. In fact, you can go to fairtax.org and watch all the videos, short little videos. It'll tell you exactly how it works.
Fairtax.org.
And you will understand it.
Is that Missouri, fairtax.org?
Fairtaxmo.org. For Missouri, fairtax.org is the National Americans for Fair Taxation that supports the fair taxes at fairtax.org. Missourians for Fair Taxation, which is the Missouri arm that we're operating, gets you the Missouri page, which is just on Facebook right now, but we're going to expand that.
Sounds good.
So
stay tuned going into next year. It's going to be an exciting year.
And if you want to get started preparing for 2023, give Bruce a call, 882-1800, or go to resourcecenterinc.com, find out more information, and we will see you next week or next year.
Probably, I don't know. Let's shoot for next week.
Let's shoot for next week. Yep, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.